Tell us about their feedback to you when they discovered you.
Well, the best compliment that I could ever ask for, and once again, never in a million years would I would expect this, but I have, Jericho, who's a friend, who is also close with Paul Stanley. And the very first time Jericho ever even heard of me, before him and I were friends, was at Paul's house. They were playing Kiss pinball, and Paul just randomly takes out the CD and says, "Have you ever heard of this band Klassik 78?" Oh, we had sent out numerous CDs just to kind of, to podcast and just people in the Kiss world that, we thought might get a kick out of it. Somehow Paul ended up with it and he loved it, but he said, "I just can't get over how much he sounds like me in the 70s. And I got that from Jericho, and I'm like, but even before, someone else had heard that he had said that. And man, I was like a little schoolgirl for like 2 days. I'm just like, this is unbelievable, Wow. And, so on the other hand, and we actually had our, instrumental, music in the Kiss A&E biography, the official biography. Wow. So they did know, enough, to kind of reach out when they were looking for something in the vein of that 70s, sound. When the licensing for their, I don't know, I assume it was a budgeting deal, so they were trying to keep within the limits of the budget, the producer. And I guess Kiss said, well, the Kiss camp, I don't know who it was, but someone said, reach out to these guys, see what they have. And luckily we had, some material, and Tom actually wrote, all of that, and it ended up on the biography. So that tells me that, we're in good standings and that we're not ticking him off too much. And Gene, I'm friends with some of his guys in his solo band, and, they played that for him on the tour bus, years back when they were doing Gene's solo tour. And Gene was just super cool about it. He said a lot of nice stuff. I'm not sure what Peter and Ace have said or if they've even heard it. It just seems to be easier to kind of get a response from Gene or Paul, which is kind of ironic, really. I thought it would be the other way around, but yeah, we've, had a lot of great feedback from numerous people in the Kiss camp, but those two obviously are most notable, and, kind of makes you feel like the hard work is paid off, and gives you some reward at the end of the day, which is nice.
Sure. You mentioned Peter Criss, and you guys don't have a Peter Criss voice among your camp.
It's nerd reward, but you'll take it.
That's right. That's
right. Nerd reward. Yeah.
So how come no Peter Criss in Klassik 78? Peter Criss vocals, obviously.
Well, I got to tell you something, and I don't think it's any secret, but Peter may have the best voice in Kiss as far as tone, and I wouldn't say his vocal ability. Paul obviously has all of them beat, especially in his prime. But Peter probably has the most radio friendly and just soothing, great sounding voice out of all of them. And it's a very hard voice. Right next to Paul, they're very unique, and we haven't found the right candidate. We've had people reach out, and we want someone that can pull it off, but is just as big of a geek as we are. And, so this goes out to everyone listening. If you think you could pull it off, send us a message on our website, and we're willing to give you a shot. I think that it would be great. We've even talked about it. Say, well, maybe we could get Peter to sing on a track, because Charlie's friends with Peter. I'm like, man, maybe we could just get him to sing, or do an album with him, or because he hasn't released a rock album in quite a while. Every time he kind of releases something, it's in the vein of I don't know, R&B or Sinatra kind of vibe. Nothing wrong with it.
Guy,
big band.
Yeah, and which there you go. So it would be cool to kind of get that voice, and I know a lot of people do. That's one of the biggest gripes we hear about is, we need a Peter voice, and I'm 1,000% with everyone too. I want that voice. It's just a matter of this guy's out there, or girl, if the girl could pull it off too.
Sure.
If you're out there, I mean, invitations open. We've been looking. I asked Charlie, because Charlie has a kind of a gravelly voice too. And I said, Charlie, is there any way that you could just, and he's like, nope. I was like, come on, not even a sample. He's like, nope. He didn't want to get into it. I was like, okay.
Wow. Because he plays everything.
He does. And if you hear him talk, he definitely, he has a very, he's from New York also, just like Peter was. He has a little bit of or as Gene calls it, a whiskey voice, has a kind of raspiness to it. Yeah. I just don't know. Maybe he's just not comfortable